Welcome to Hero Villains. Thank you for always following and supporting the channel. In your opinion, Buu versus Lobo. Determining the winner in a battle between Majin Buu, the ultimate destructive entity created by the wizard Bibidi, and Lobo, the immortal Czarnian bounty hunter, is a fascinating and highly contradictory challenge. Even in their basic forms, both are unstoppable forces, nightmares for every civilization in their respective universes. One is the embodiment of pure destruction, a primordial magical force capable of erasing entire galaxies on a whim. The other is a being who is completely immortal, both physically and mentally, a violent war machine who has wrestled with Superman, defeated gods, and was even banished to both hell and heaven, only to be expelled from both realms for being too troublesome. As a result, both operate far beyond conventional physical statistics, making the outcome depend more on the nature of their power sources, the limits of their regenerative abilities, and their feats of absolute destruction. In summary, let us begin. First, Majin Buu, the pink god of destruction. As mentioned earlier, Majin Buu has always been one of the greatest threats ever to exist in the history of Universe 7 Inches Dragon Ball. The fact that he survived for millions of years, dating back to the era of the Supreme Kai, and remained a terrifying unknown until being revived by Bibidi and later Babidi, speaks to the timeless nature of this creature. When discussing the pinnacle of power and pure destruction, we must look at the complete Majin Buu entity. From the calculated brutality of Super Buu to the endless, uncontrollable madness of Kid Buu. Granting him cellular level regeneration along with immense innate power derived from the universe's ki elevated him to an entirely different class, transforming him into a true force of destruction capable of threatening the structure of the entire universe. Buu, the monstrous entity, has repeatedly faced and survived attacks capable of erasing galaxies, and at his peak, his ki clashes with gods of destruction such as Beerus-generated shockwaves capable of wiping out the entire Dragon Ball macrocosm. This macrocosm does not consist of a single universe alone, but rather a vast structure containing the Supreme Kai, Realm, Hell, and the mortal universes such as Universe 7 and Universe 6. When Buu existed as Super Buu after absorbing Gohan, or when Kid Buu unleashed his destructive attacks in a frenzy, the level of energy he released went far beyond destroying a planet or a solar system. It threatened the very existence of the entire space and time structure of that universe. Buu's attacks possess material and energy destruction on a terrifying scale. He can effortlessly destroy galaxies with secondary attacks alone. However, the most impressive aspect is not merely his offensive power, but his survivability and supernatural abilities that nearly break every rule of combat. Buu possesses regeneration at a level that even the greatest scientists in the Dragon Ball universe could not comprehend. He does not require an intact body to survive. As long as a single cell remains, Buu can regenerate his entire body, completely heal all injuries, and even regrow severed limbs in an instant. This ability is not merely biological. It is magical and conceptual in nature, allowing him to survive attacks that erase matter, extreme energy explosions, and even attacks aimed at the soul. Furthermore, Buu possesses absorption and transmutation. Using the magical antenna on his head, Buu can transform anyone into candy and consume them, thereby not only eliminating his opponents but also absorbing all of their power, skills, intelligence, and unique abilities. After absorbing elite warriors such as Piccolo, Gotenks, and especially Mystic Gohan, Buu's power skyrocketed to immeasurable levels, elevating him to the pinnacle of evolution. Even when returning to his original form as Kid Buu, a pure embodiment of destruction and madness, Buu possesses an endless source of energy. Kid Buu never becomes tired, never runs out of ki, and his insanity makes him completely unpredictable, rendering him immune to all forms of psychological attacks or strategic manipulation. During the final confrontation with Goku and Vegeta, Kid Buu created a gigantic sphere of destructive energy, an attack carrying the power of an amplified supernova explosion, capable of completely erasing Universe 7 if it detonated. Although Goku and Vegeta were forced to rely on their ultimate techniques and the support of every living being in the universe to defeat him, the very fact that Kid Buu could generate and withstand such levels of energy demonstrates his status. However, physical strength and energy are only part of the terrifying picture that is Buu. The ability that truly makes him nearly invincible is his regeneration. Buu's body does not follow any biological laws. He can be torn apart, crushed, burned to ashes, or even disintegrated at the molecular level, yet all of it is meaningless. Every fragment of his body can automatically reunite, regenerate, and even reproduce smaller versions of itself. When Vegeta risked his life and self-destructed, turning his entire body into an energy bomb, Buu was blown apart into tiny fragments. Yet, only seconds later, each fragment gathered together and perfectly reconstructed Buu without showing a single sign of damage. Not only his body, but even his consciousness and soul seem impossible to destroy. His next terrifying ability is matter transformation, especially the magic beam. This is not an ordinary energy attack. It is the imposition of Buu's will upon reality itself. With a single beam emitted from the antenna on his head, Buu can transform anything he desires into whatever he imagines. The strongest warriors become pieces of chocolate candy, while devastating war machines become loaves of bread. More importantly, when he consumes these transformed victims, Buu does not merely destroy them, he completely absorbs their energy and essence. When absorbing an opponent, Buu gains not only their strength and combat techniques, but also their intelligence and knowledge. He absorbed Gotenks, Piccolo, and even Mystic Gohan, each time reaching an entirely new level of power. This means that in a prolonged battle, Buu is not merely a destroyer. He is a cosmic parasite, constantly evolving and becoming stronger by devouring the mightiest enemies he faces. He is an endless cycle of destruction where the stronger the enemy, the stronger he becomes after defeating and absorbing that opponent. Thus, Majin Buu is truly a universe-destroying force, a creature whose very existence challenges the concepts of life and death themselves. His power is a deadly combination of destruction, regeneration, magic, and absorption, making him one of the most difficult entities to eliminate. I sincerely hope you will subscribe to the channel. It would help us tremendously, and you are absolutely amazing. Thank you very much. Next, let us talk about Lobo, the last son of Czarnian. As mentioned earlier, Lobo is a crude, violent cigar addict who loves massive motorcycles and has a strange affection for space dolphins. But behind the appearance of a cosmic biker lies an entity possessing power and immortality at a level that is nearly absolute. He is the last member of the Czarnian race, but not because of some catastrophe. Lobo personally exterminated his entire species simply to achieve a unique personal accomplishment. This madness and violence form the foundation of all his power. As I stated before, Lobo has always been one of the most insane, powerful, and difficult beings to kill in the DC Comics universe. And viewing him not merely as a bounty hunter, but as a true cosmic entity elevates him even further on the cosmic hierarchy. However, because Lobo is often portrayed with a humorous and satirical personality and is sometimes used as a character who breaks the fourth wall or serves as a joke by writers, the true extent of his power and immortality is difficult to quantify. He is not a solemn god like Darkseid, nor a conceptual entity like the Presence, yet he exists in a universe where his immortality has effectively become an unwritten law, a physical constant that even gods must respect. Lobo possesses some of the most impressive and absurd feats in the entire universe. His offensive power is sufficient to fight on equal terms with Superman, Wonder Woman, and even the Justice League during prolonged battles, inflicting enormous physical damage upon gods and demigods alike. However, offensive power is only one aspect of his abilities. Lobo's endurance and survivability are what place him in an entirely different category. He survived the crisis on Infinite Earths,
an event in which the entire DC multiverse, including countless parallel universes, was completely erased by waves of antimatter. While billions of lives and innumerable universes were wiped from existence, Lobo not only survived, but was among the few beings who were aware of what was happening and capable of moving freely through the chaos. Lobo possesses extraordinary offensive power and durability, but it is his regenerative ability that truly defines his immortality. If Buu requires a single cell to regenerate, Lobo can regenerate from a single drop of blood. Even if his body is completely destroyed down to the atomic level, he can still reassemble himself, yet what is even more terrifying is his blood cloning mechanism. Every drop of Lobo's blood that falls does not simply regenerate the original body. Instead, it develops into a complete duplicate of Lobo. Although these duplicates may be slightly weaker than the original, they still possess planet-destroying levels of power and comparable immortality. This means that if you cut Lobo in half, you are not merely creating two wounds, you have just created two Lobos. If you burn him to ashes and those ashes scatter into the wind, every particle carrying his genetic material can potentially become a new Lobo. This is a mechanism of limitless reproduction and survival, transforming any attempt to destroy him into a fatal strategic mistake. Lobo's power has no clearly defined limit. The angrier he becomes, the stronger he grows. He has brought down gods, torn apart gigantic alien monsters with his bare hands, and even punched small planets into pieces. But raw strength is only a small part of Lobo's arsenal. The ability that truly makes Lobo an unbeatable opponent is his absolute immortality. Both heaven and hell have banned Lobo. Quite literally, when Lobo died on one occasion, his soul ascended to heaven and caused such a massive brawl that the angels were forced to expel him. He then fell into hell and created so much chaos that the demons also sent him back to his body. Since that moment, Lobo's soul has been unable to leave the mortal realm. He is trapped in an eternal cycle of immortality, incapable of being judged or sent to any metaphysical plane. Throughout countless occasions where he has been torn apart, blown to pieces, or crushed, Lobo has always returned from the smallest fragments of his body. When decapitated, he simply picks up his head and places it back on his neck. When reduced to a pool of blood, every cell in his body automatically fights for the right to regenerate into the original Lobo, and more often than not, they merge together into a single Lobo once again. Lobo's endurance is equally limitless. He does not need food, sleep, or even air, and he can survive in any environment. He has flown through stars, fought within the absolute vacuum of space, and endured supernova-level explosions without suffering any damage. He also possesses an extremely high resistance to all forms of psychic, magical, and reality-altering attacks. As a being who is completely insane and has absolutely nothing to lose, Lobo's mind is a chaotic mixture of violence and pleasure, making any attempt at mind control or mental assault essentially meaningless. A telepath attempting to enter Lobo's mind would immediately be overwhelmed by the pure chaos within. In addition, Lobo possesses the combat intelligence of a genius and an enormous arsenal of weapons. He is the greatest bounty hunter in the universe, which means he has had to take down every kind of creature imaginable, from magical entities to colossal war machines. He uses guns, knives, chains, bombs, and especially his massive hook, all forged from some of the most durable alloys in the universe, and often coated with poison or infused with energy. Lobo is not merely a close-quarters fighter. He is a versatile killing machine willing to use the dirtiest tricks imaginable to finish off his prey. He has successfully hunted and eliminated targets that even entire Green Lantern Corps units were reluctant to confront, demonstrating his ability to adapt to and defeat virtually any kind of opponent. DC writers themselves have repeatedly acknowledged that they cannot truly kill Lobo, and that the only way to remove him from a story is to place him in permanent confinement or push him outside the primary timeline, because death simply does not work on him. Now that the nature and greatest feats of both destroyers have been clearly established, we move into the core of this matchup. In terms of raw destructive power and area of effect, Majin Buu holds an overwhelming advantage. Lobo can destroy a planet through physical force after considerable effort. Buu can erase a planet with a single energy sphere fired from his fingertip in less than a second. As Kid Buu, he performed this feat as a form of entertainment, destroying dozens of worlds in a chain of consecutive explosions. The destructive force of a full power attack from Buu extends far beyond the planetary level. It is capable of shaking entire galaxies and tearing apart the fabric of space and time. Lobo, despite his immense power, has never demonstrated destruction on such a cosmic scale. He is an assassin, a precise killer, whereas Buu is a weapon of mass destruction. In a direct confrontation, if Buu decides to destroy the entire planet on which they are fighting, Lobo would be unable to stop him. He would survive, but it would still be a tactical victory for Buu in terms of battlefield control. However, the key factor in this battle lies in the regenerative abilities and immortality of both combatants. This creates an almost absolute stalemate. Buu can regenerate from any fragment. Lobo can regenerate from a single drop of blood. Both have demonstrated the ability to return from complete disintegration. So, who can truly destroy the other? This is where we must examine the nature of their immortality more closely. Buu's regeneration is a magical and biological process. It relies on his cells automatically reassembling themselves and restoring his energy. However, it has been pushed to its limits before. During his battle with Vegito, Buu was completely overwhelmed, and although he was not destroyed, he was unable to effectively fight back against an opponent possessing vastly superior power. Kid Buu was ultimately destroyed by the Spirit Bomb, an attack that gathered energy from every living being and purified its target, demonstrating that his regeneration can be overcome by a source of energy powerful and pure enough to destroy every last cell. In contrast, Lobo's immortality is established on a more fundamental level. It is not merely biological, it is a decree of the universe itself. Both heaven and hell have refused to accept his soul. This means that even if Buu were capable of completely destroying Lobo's physical body at the quantum level, Lobo's soul would still have nowhere to go. It would remain trapped within reality, unable to pass on, and according to the logic of the DC universe, this would mean his body would eventually find a way to regenerate from whatever remained, or even from nothingness itself. Lobo has regenerated from a single drop of blood. Theoretically, if Buu were to grind Lobo into dust and scatter him across the universe, would Lobo regenerate? The answer is yes. He has been disintegrated by some of the most advanced weapons imaginable and still returned. Lobo's immortality appears to be an absolute cosmic constant, a universal truth rather than an ability that can be disabled. However, Buu possesses the ability to absorb opponents, a tactic he frequently uses against powerful enemies. If Buu absorbed Lobo, he would gain the bounty hunter's power and regenerative abilities, becoming even more unstoppable. The question is whether he could do so successfully. Lobo is not merely a physical body, he is a cursed soul, a being so insane that both heaven and hell rejected him. Absorbing a mind as chaotic and uncontrollable as Lobo's could have unimaginable consequences. Super Buu was nearly destroyed from within after absorbing the extraordinarily powerful Vegito. Could Lobo's madness cause Buu to explode from the inside? Quite possibly. Nevertheless, Buu's power and regenerative abilities are undeniable. He is one of the strongest and most troublesome beings in the Dragon Ball universe. In a prolonged battle, he would force Lobo to endure every imaginable form of pain and destruction. He could even kill Lobo hundreds of times in the most creative ways possible. But Lobo is defined by absolute immortality. He does not merely regenerate his body, his soul is permanently locked out of the afterlife. He will never die and never be completely erased. Buu, despite his extraordinary regeneration, can still be completely destroyed if erased at the atomic level by a sufficiently powerful energy attack, as demonstrated when Goku destroyed Kid Buu with the Spirit Bomb. Lobo cannot. He has survived things even more extreme. Lobo's victory would come from the stubborn persistence and experience of a true predator. He would not attempt to kill Buu through conventional means. Instead, he would study him, adapt, and continue searching for weaknesses until Buu eventually exhausted himself. Buu is a magical creature, but he is not invincible. Lobo, with power that has challenged even Superman and experience gained from battling every kind of cosmic monster imaginable, would eventually find a way to seal, restrain, or simply batter Buu into a state from which he could not recover quickly enough. In the end, Lobo would be the one standing victorious.
And that concludes our analysis of the craziest brawl in the universe. This is a battle that nobody truly wants to referee, but we have delivered our verdict. What do you think? Let us know your opinion in the comments below. If you enjoy overpowered matchups that are just as hilarious as they are epic, do not forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you do not miss any future battles. Thank you all for watching.